Hello students. Today we are going to read about the history of humans, how a human evolved. History of life, simply I am saying here history of life, right? How life come on the earth or how human is evolved. In this chapter, that is evolution, this is our next chapter, evolution. Evolution means here, what is evolution? Evolution means gradual changes which occurs in million of years. It's in long time, right? Million of years. So gradual changes which accumulate in an animal in millions of years, generation after generation, they are accumulated and ultimately they give rise to a new species, right? Or they give rise to a complex organisms like we. That is called evolution. Evolution means gradual changes during a long lifespan, right? But this time it is not very correct because when we see the Hugo de Vries mutational theory, that time what happens? Sudden changes are also here, right? So simply we can say evolution means what? It is the study of history of life on Earth, right? In this chapter we have 9 points to read, right? Origin of life. First here what is given? Evolutionary biology is the study of history of life form on Earth. What is given here? Evolutionary biology. What is evolutionary biology? Evolutionary biology is the history of life form on Earth. How life evolved and how a simpler life convert into a complex life, means complex organisms, that is period in evolutionary biology, right? Of what exactly is evolution? To understand the changes in flora. Flora means plant and fauna. Fauna means animals. Plants and animals that have occurred over million of years on Earth in a very long lifespan. We must have an understanding of the context of origin of life. That is evolution of Earth, of star, and indeed the universe itself. Indeed the universe itself. So when we means that is evolution means what? Evolution of Earth, evolution of star, evolution of universe, but here life is not there. So it is not evolutionary biology. Evolutionary biology means history of life form on Earth. Okay. What follows is the longest of all the constituted and conjectured stories. This is the story of origin of life. So what is evolution? It is story of origin of life and evolution of life forms or biodiversity on the planet Earth in the context of evolution on Earth, in the context of evolution on Earth and against the background of evolution of universe itself. Evolution of universe, evolution of star, evolution of Earth. Then after evolution of life, means history of life, how life evolved on Earth, right? Do you understand what is evolutionary biology? Evolutionary biology is the history of life on Earth, history of life forms on Earth, how they evolve, right? Next point is given here, origin of life. Origin of life. Actually, when we consider what is evolution, so evolution, when we consider evolution, evolution means what? The evolution means to unfold or to unfold the story, to unfold the means reveal or hidden story of our ancestors, right? Ancestor means they are simpler organisms, right? Now, first question is who first used the term evolution? So, the evolution term was first, this evolution term was first used by, who used this evolution term very first? It is Herbert Spencer. Herbert, Herbert Spencer. Right? Herbert Spencer first used this term evolution, right? And according to Darwin, Darwin means Darwin modified the, we can say Darwin, he is very important scientist, we can say. So Darwin modified the definition of evolution, because Darwin said one concept. The Darwin concept means Darwin, it can be explained, we can say it can be explained by the Darwin's concept. Which concept? Descent with modifications. This term is given by Darwin. Descent means the new offspring, new generation, right? Always they come with some modifications, some variation is come. Through sexual reproduction, we know sexual reproduction is important for variation. In new offspring or new generation, right, it is always different from their parents. There are some variations, and these small variations, they accumulate in generation after generation during a million of years, and alternatively what happens, they forms a new species. Means accumulation of small generation, small variations, when they accumulate, ultimately they form a new species. That is according to the, that is called as evolution. So evolution means study of what? Study of formation of a complex organisms from a simpler one, right? Through the accumulation of gradual accumulation, we can say, through the gradual accumulation of minor variations in generation and after generation through million of years, right? So when they accumulate this minor variation, small variations, in one generation that is only some variation is there. Next generation means some other variation all accumulate. Another means more variations come, and ultimately what happens, these when this accumulation becomes a large, huge variations are also present, then they convert into a new species, right? Means a simpler organisms convert into a complex organisms, right? That is evolution according to Darwin. I think you understand, right? Okay, what is given in Origin of Life? When we look at stars on the clear night sky, we are in a way looking back in time. How we are looking back in time? Because we know the stars, they are very far away from here. As for example, our polar star, North Pole, it is present on North Pole, only one place. It never moves. All the stars, when we see, they are not moving around the pole star, but when we see, because Earth is rotated, right? So we think only we see that all the stars, they are rotated around the polar star. So what is the distance of polar star from here? It is 40 light years. So what do you mean by 40 light years? Light years means the distance in which a light travels, right, in 1 year, simply. The light travel and light speed is, we know it is 3 lakh kilometers per second, right? From sun, it took 8.5 minutes near about, right? From sun to earth, it took 8.5 minutes. So 40 light years ago, that means if we see the today's polar star, North Pole star, that means we are seeing the 40-year ago pole star. 40-year ago pole star. That means we are seeing the 40-year ago picture. Simply, picture means pole star. It is not today's pole star. It is 40-year ago pole star, because the light which is come from pole star, it comes, and when it comes to our eyes, then we see. Light is essential, right? Simply, you understand why? So we are looking the 40-year ago pole star, not today's present day pole star. Present day pole star, it will be see. When it will see after 40 years, right? That is given here. Simply, when we look at stars on clear night sky, we are in a way looking back in the time. Stellar distance are measured. Stellar distance, planet, stars, in light years. Light year means what? The distance traveled by the light in 1 year, right? What we see today is an object whose emitted light starts its journey million of years back and from trillion of kilometers away from reaching our eyes now, right? If it is million of year back, means what happens? It is million light year far away from our planet, right? And this light, it took million of years to reach here. That means we are seeing the object means this star or this planet, which is not today's, but it is million year ago planet. Okay, That is interesting. However, when we see the object in our immediate surroundings, that if I see you, I am seeing you. I am seeing you means it is immediate. Why? Because how many times it take it? This time is negotiable. Very less time, right? Surroundings, we see them instantly and hence in the present time. Therefore, when we see the stars, we apparently are peeping into the past. I think you understand why how we peeping in the star, because this light, it took time according to the distance of the stars or planet. As for example, I tell you polar star means 40 years ago from here. So 40, we are seeing the pole star 40 years ago pole stars, not today's pole star, right? Now, the origin of life is considered as unique event in the history of universe. Origin of life, that is considered as unique event in the history of universe. This time also we have no idea is there any planet in which like humans or like our that means life like as to earth is present or not present. We have no idea this time. Universe is vast, very vast. Relatively speaking, the earth itself is almost only a very small particle, that is speck. Very small particle, earth itself, right? The universe is very old. Very old means it is almost 20 billion year old. How much? It is 20 billion year old. Sometimes we write here 20 billion ago, BYA, right? That is. Huge clusters of galaxies comprises the universe. Here we know our universe means it contains huge galaxies. And how many galaxies are there? We have no actual idea. Galaxies, it contains stars and clouds of gases and dusts, right? Considering the size of universe, Earth is indeed a speck, very small particle, right? And the Big Bang theory attempts to explain us the origin of universe. Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory means Big Bang, you know, explosion. But this explosion in which Earth is like a speck, we cannot. It is talked to a singular huge explosion, unimaginable in physical term. Because here in this explosion, what Earth is speck, right? So we cannot imagine this, right, in physical terms, right? This Big Bang theory, who proposed this Big Bang theory? It is Abby Lamaiter. Big Bang theory, it is proposed by Abby Lamaiter. Lamaiter. Big Bang theory, it is proposed by Abby Lamaiter, right? He proposed this Big Bang theory. According to Big Bang theory, what happens? First, because this means that galaxies, huge clusters of galaxies, they comprises universe. Okay, galaxies contain stars and cloud of gas and dust, right? Then what happens here? After this huge explosion, the universe expand. When universe expand, then what happens? When it expand, then the temperature is going down, right? When temperature came down, then what happens? The gaseous clouds which were formed due to the Big Bang theory, right? Big Bang. Then what happens? They condensed. They condensed under gravitation. When they condensed under gravitation, gravitation means here capital G. I am not saying capital G, gravitation, right? When they condensed gravitation, then what happens? A disc-like structure. They form a disc-like structure. Disc-like structure is formed, right? And this disc-like structure, which is formed here, right, due to the gravitation, this is called nebula. This structure is called nebula, right? That structure. Okay. Our solar system, in nebula, our solar system, it is called as solar nebula. Solar nebula. Our solar system, like sun and then earth planets are there. This is a disc-like structure, nebula, solar nebula, right? And look here, because these are the stars and cloud of gases and dust, the central part become more and more hotter. Then what happens? It forms sun. It forms sun, and it forms the sun, right? To which all these gases and dust, they are rotate, means they are surrounded, right? Later on, condensation is going on. Then after what happens? Some planets are formed, comets are formed, and other things are formed here. Okay, this time it is not very important to discuss here. Here what is given? Universe expand and hence the temperature came down. Universe expand and hence temperature came down. When temperature came down, then they form a disc-like structure due to the gravitation. Gravitation means constant is capital G. I tell you capital G in physics you understand, capital G, right? So due to the gravitation, they form a disc-like structure, and this like structure is called nebula. This one is called nebula. In this disc-like structure, central portion, it is maximum hottest portion, right? And it forms the sun. It forms the sun. And a solar, our solar system is also a example of solar nebula, right? Temperature came down. Hydrogen and helium formed some time later. Hydrogen and helium, they form after the formation of solar system, right, in the universe. Hydrogen and helium, right? Later, the gases condensed under gravitation. Gases, they condensed under gravitation and formed the galaxies of the present day universe. When they condensed, they form galaxies of the present day universe, and our galaxy in which our Earth is present, our solar system is present, this galaxy is called Milky Way galaxy. The solar system of the Milky Way galaxy, that is our Earth, means our galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, in Hindi it is called as Padmini galaxy, right? Earth was supposed to have been formed about 4.5 billion year back. Universe almost 20 billion year old, right? Earth 4.5 billion year back. There was no atmosphere at that time. On early Earth, there was no atmosphere, right? Water vapor, H2O, methane, CH4, carbon dioxide, and ammonia released from molten mass covered the surface. After then what happens? First, Earth has no atmosphere, right? And atmosphere come from where? That is from molten mass, right? What is water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and ammonia? They release from molten mass covered with the ultraviolet rays, that is UV rays, because that time ozone layer is absent. So ultraviolet, they directly come to the Earth's surface from the sun, broke up the water into hydrogen and oxygen. So ultraviolet rays, when they reach to the Earth, then what happens? They broke down the water vapors H2O into H plus, means hydrogen and oxygen. And then the lighter H2 means hydrogen, it escaped, means it go into the universe. What is remaining? Remaining oxygen is there. Now this oxygen escaped. Now oxygen which is remained here, it combined with the ammonia and methane. It is combined with ammonia and methane and form water, carbon dioxide, and other gases. They form, right? The ozone layer was formed because oxygen is there, which is which is come from water molecule, right? This oxygen form ozone layer. When ozone layer is formed, right, then as it cooled, the water vapor fell as rain. Water vapors are formed, right? Through how water vapors come from here? When oxygen combined with ammonia and methane, then water is formed. Once more water is formed. Earlier water means it is broken up by ultraviolet rays, and then hydrogen, which is lighter, it escaped into the universe. Only oxygen is there. And when this oxygen binds with methane and another one is ammonia, then it forms water, carbon dioxide, and other substances, right? So this water, when it cooled down, then what happens? It fell as rain to fill the depressions. Depressions means when earth is means it is constricted, then what happens? Some depressions are formed. Depressions and form the shallow ocean. That time deeper oceans are not there, there are shallow oceans are there, right? Oceans. Life appeared 500 year 500 million years after the million years means 5 MYA 500 Maya or million years after the formation of earth. Earth formed 4.5 billion years ago, and this life, it appears, look here, it is life. Life means here chemogeny starts, right? We cannot say means cellular form or non-cellular form. Non-cellular form arises and on means 3 billion year ago. Cellular prokaryotic cells, they are formed 2 billion year ago. Eukaryotic cell formed near about 1.5 million year ago, right? Billion year ago, right? 4 billion ago. Life appeared 500 million year after the formation of earth, that means almost 4 billion year back, right? That is the means we can say how earth atmosphere is formed, how earth is formed, and how earth atmosphere is formed. And first life, it is near about to 4 billion year back formed, right? Do you understand here what is saying? Now here, second point is there. Did life come from outer space? Now question, from where this life come? The first question is, this life come from outer space? Come from outer space? To some scientists, okay, we cannot say no, that is wrong, because some scientists believe that it come from outside. They believe that it is correct, it come from outside. Early Greek thinkers thought unit of life, that is called spores, right, were transferred to different planets, including Earth also. They are transferred through meteorite, right, into different planets, including Earth is also there. This is called panspermia. This is the theory of panspermia. It is a favorite idea for some astronomers, right? This panspermia, it is also called as, this one is cosmozoic theory or spore theory. Spore theory or panspermia theory. These three are same. These three are same. And who proposed this theory? It is Arrhenius. Arrhenius proposed this theory, panspermia. Cosmozoic theory means it is proposed by Richest, right? So these scientists, they propose this theory. Now next point is there. For a long time, it was also believed that life came out of decaying and rotting matter like straw, mud, etc. This was the theory of spontaneous generation. Spontaneous generation, or we can say abiogenesis also. We can say abiogenesis also, right? So who proposed this theory? Once more question is coming. This spontaneous theory, it is proposed by whom? It is Greek. What is given? It is through Greek. It believed life comes from decaying rotting matter, straw, mud, etc. This theory was spontaneous generation, and it is believed by some Greek philosophers. So who is the Greek philosopher? It is given by Aristotle. Aristotle. Von Helmont. Von Helmont. They said, okay, Aristotle said that crocodiles or small worms, they arise through rotting straw, right? Crocodiles, they arise mud from muds, right? But this one is wrong. Next point is here given. Louis Pasteur. by carefully experimentation demonstrated that life comes only from existing life. Pre-existing life means life come from life only, not non-living substances, right? He showed, also he experiments, he showed that a pre-sterilized flask, life did not come from killed yeast, while in another flask open to air, new living organisms arose from killed yeast, which is open to air. Means what happened when it is open to air means bacteria and other microbes and flies all also came into the yeast, right? Then their larva develop inside the which one? Open flask, right? But the flask in which is swan neck flask is there, swan neck flask, right? So in swan neck flask, what happens? That bacteria, microbes or flies, they are unable to enter into the, means they are unable to reach the yeast. Yeast means that is the yeast, we can say soup. So they are not reached to the yeast soup, right? And that's why here no organisms develop. That's why he said that means what? Which is open flask, right? Here, living organisms or microbes like flies and other microbes, bacteria, they come and they reproduce. But in swan neck flask, what happens? They are unable to reach to the yeast, to the food. That's why here no bacteria or no worms of flies, they forms. Spontaneous generation theory was dismissed once and for all. However, this did not answer how the first life from form came on the earth. Okay, he disproved the spontaneous theory, right? He means who? Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur disproved the spontaneous theory, but he cannot tell us how the life come on earth, right? Here, this is means here what he said, that life come from pre-existing life. So this theory is called as biogenesis. This theory, it is called theory of biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis, right? So who proposed this theory of biogenesis first? Okay, he proved. Louis Pasteur proved the theory of biogenesis, but who proposed this one? It is Harvey and Huxley. Harvey and Huxley, they proposed the theory of biogenesis. Who? Harvey and Huxley. They proposed the theory of biogenesis, right? Now, next point is here. Oparin, so here we understand that three theories are given. First is panspermia, in which spores come from another planet. Second one is abiogenesis or spontaneous theory, in which means living, they means they can exist, means they originate from the decaying matters or through mats, right? Third one is our biogenesis, that is life come from only pre-existing life, that is called theory of biogenesis. It is proposed by Huxley and Harvey and Huxley, right? And then another one is spontaneous. It is proposed by the Aristotle. Panspermia is proposed by Arrhenius, right? Cosmozoic, it is also called as cosmozoic theory. So cosmozoic theory, it is proposed by Richest, right? The next point is here, we can see Oparin of Russia and Halden, new theory, which is more or less accepted by all. What is given? Oparin. Who is Oparin? It is A.I. Oparin and Halden. Oparin of Russia and Halden of England. These two scientists. Oparin of Russia and Halden of England. This Halden is the scientist, right, who come to India and then settle here. Do you know this Halden? He come to India and settle here. Proposed that the first form of life could have come from pre-existing non-living organic molecules. Non-living organic molecules. That is RNA, proteins, extra. Means they are complex organic molecules. They may be protein, polysaccharides, RNA, DNA, extra. And that formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution. Means chemogeny, right? formation of diverse organic molecule from inorganic constituents. First what happens in, first what, okay, I will tell you after this one. First what is there? Only inorganic substance are there. Simply first atomic stage there, then from atomic stage there, what is? Complex organic inorganic forms are formed. Then from complex organic form, inorganic forms, complex organic molecules are formed. And from complex organic molecules, then polymers are formed. From polymers, protobionts are formed. From protobionts, eobionts are formed. And then cells are formed. We will read this one after this one. The condition on earth where high temperature, volcanic storms, at that time temperature is very high, we know volcanic storms are there, reducing atmosphere. Reducing, why it is reducing? Because due to the absence of oxygen. At that time, reducing means absence of oxygen, right? That's why it is called as reducing atmosphere. And today atmosphere, today because 21% is oxygen, 21% is oxygen. That's why today atmosphere oxidizing atmosphere, right? CH4 reducing atmosphere, which contains methane, ammonia, extra, right? 1953, Stanley Miller, S.L. Miller, an American scientist, Oparin, Russian scientist, Haldane, England scientist, which after then it settled in India, okay? American scientist who is there, Stanley Miller, it created similar condition in laboratory, similar condition of early earth, laboratory scale. He created electric discharge in a closed flask containing methane, CH4, hydrogen, ammonia and water vapors at 1800 degree centigrade, because at that time our temperature is too much, right? And he observed formation of amino acids. He observed means amino acids are formed. Today we also know that amino acids are the substituents of methane. So this is methane, right? In similar experiment, other are also observed. So who other scientists are observed? Formation of sugar, nitrogen bases, pigments and fats are formed. So who are the other scientists who observed the similar experiment? He is up. One is our here. Oparin observed. Oparin, same thing, same type of experiment when he do. Then what happens? He forms. What he forms? Probionts, right? So probionts means he set them name. He forms means organic substance which are means which have no lipid layer, right? Means proteins or that is glycans, right? He named them coacervates. Coacervates. He formed coacervates. Coacer means here lipids are absent. Lipid coat is absent, right? Second is our Sidney Fox. Sidney Fox. He also observed proteinoid microsphere. Microsphere means protein covered by which has lipid coat, right? He give them name proteinoid microsphere, Sidney Fox microsphere. Oparin, he observed coacervates in his experiments, and Stanley Miller observed amino acids. So that means these scientists that they prove that inorganic substances are converted into organic substances, right? Analysis of meteorite content also reveal the similar components, indicating that similar processes are occurring elsewhere in the space. The same process is going on in all over the universe, right? Which this limited evidences the first part of the conjectured story that is chemical evolution. Chemical evolution was more or less accepted. Now you understand who proposed this chemical evolution theory? The chemical evolution theory was proposed by whom? Oparin and Haldane.